guys, welcome to another episode of Builds by Bailey. Today we're going to install the new handlebars on the Cafe Racer project. The first thing that you'll notice is that we have the front end of the motorcycle lifted by the hoist. That kind of ensures that it's not going to fall over when we take the shock tubes out in the front forks. It also gives us some space to drop the forks so we can install the new hangers for the handlebars. So it's lifted about 3 inches off the ground, sitting on blocks, and it's also secured by the hoist. In the back I've got a 2x4 sitting underneath the rear wheel, so that way whenever we take the load off the front end of it with the tire, that it doesn't spring back and teeter-totter and fall off of the hoist. First things first, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take all of the levers and stuff and the handle grips off and get all that stuff off and out of the way. Then we will take the headlight off and move it out of the way, so that way we can go ahead and loosen up the bolts on the strut or the forks, so that way we can drop the front end and we can reapply the grips and the levers to the new stuff. Thing we're going to do is we're going to take the headlight off and kind of just tilt it forward. This particular one's only held on with some zip ties, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut those and have new ones to put back in place. The next thing we're going to do is take apart the top of the triple tree and the bottom of the triple tree on both sides, so that way we can relax the front forks and they'll slide down. This one has the front brake lever is attached with a zip tie in the front. I don't really feel like disconnecting it, and it's pretty loose, so we'll probably just leave it on there and let everything slide. It's good to remember that we're just loosening the bolts that are on the triple trees, so don't take them all the way out. You just want to loosen them up so that the forks can travel. That's all you're looking for. First things first, before you start to actually drop the fork tubes out, make sure that they're clean so that way they don't scratch up coming out of it. Very easy to do. You know, this one has quite a few years of pitting and stuff like that on it, so there's a lot of dirt on it. So I'm going to go ahead and clean that off with some surface cleaner or wax and grease remover that you guys have seen me used in the past, and just kind of break some of that dirt off of it so it doesn't get caught when it goes down inside the other tubes there. Now you're ready to go ahead and take out the fork tubes. A little bit of gentle twisting will kind of help them fall down some. You really only need to drop them down just enough so you can fit the new collar inside. These are the actual handlebar part, and these are the parts that they slide into that fit onto the fork tubes. So these just simply slide into place. They actually mount like that, kind of angled down a little bit. So we'll slide those into place and get them ready and mocked up over there on the motorcycle. Now we're going to take the new block that came in that the handlebar actually fits into, and we're going to go ahead and slide those over the forks. Make sure you pay attention to what side goes up, depending on the style of handlebars that you have. So now comes the tricky part. This is where we have to put the forks back up inside of the top of the triple tree. I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to loosen up on the hoist and drop the front end down just a little bit so I can get the forks to kind of push up into place, and then I'll help them from there. Make sure that whenever you're putting the forks back up into place, that you make sure that the wheel is, the tire is straight in here, because when you loosen those up, you can actually torque the forks a little bit and you can cause it to kind of steer funny. So make sure that it's in line. I actually get to work off of the old handlebars so I can tell, but if you've already taken your old handlebars off, then just don't worry about it. Try and go off of the tops of your triple tree. Now when setting these, make sure that you put them all the way to the top. You're probably going to have to get a small Allen wrench to go up in here so you can get in behind. Make sure that your handlebars are kind of mounted where you want them to be at, and then tighten them down. This one, since I have the headlight underneath it, we're going to mount them all the way up as high as they'll go. just a reverse of what we did before. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put the headlight back in place, all the handlebar components back on, and then it'll be ready to take off of the hoist and the blocks that I've got underneath it. And then we'll take the old handlebars off and it'll be ready to put on the ground. Sorry it didn't record. All I had to do was jack up on the hoist that lifted the front end of the motorcycle up in the air. I was able to push the blocks out of the way and then lower it back down to the ground safely, and then just pack up the hoist and push it out of the way. So now we're going to take off the handlebars. Pretty much everything that's on here is like a 12mm. So underneath here there are some bushings with a bolt that goes through them. So we're going to take loose those and take the handlebars completely off the top. Now I have the other handlebars off of it and everything looks like it fits in place. It's got the lower Cafe Racer handlebars on it now. Pretty happy with the way everything's set up. My levers feel pretty good, like they're supposed to be there. I can still reach my headlight switch and turn that on and off. So everything tucked pretty nice. I'm really pleased with the way that they turned out. If you like the ones that you see here, these actually came off of Amazon. So I can put the link down in the description below. Thanks for watching another episode of Builds by Bailey. And next episode we should have some more stuff on the bike.